What if the most important war of our time isn't being fought with weapons? What if it's happening quietly, through trade deals, technology, and financial systems? The United States and China are locked in a battle that rarely makes headlines in full detail. This is the silent economic war shaping the future of global power. There are no explosions, no front lines, and no soldiers marching into battle. Instead, this conflict plays out in boardrooms, supply chains, and digital networks. It is a competition for influence over markets, industries, and innovation. And its consequences will define the next global superpower. For decades, the United States dominated the global economy. Its companies led innovation, its currency powered global trade, and its policies shaped international systems. But over the past few decades, China has risen rapidly. This rise has created one of the most significant rivalries in modern history. China's economic transformation has been unprecedented. In just a few decades, it moved from a developing nation to the world's second-largest economy. Its manufacturing power, export strength, and growing technological capabilities have challenged American dominance. This shift has forced the United States to respond. The relationship between these two nations was not always competitive. For years, the U.S. and China were deeply connected through trade. American companies relied on Chinese manufacturing while China depended on U.S. consumers. This interdependence created both opportunity and vulnerability. As China's influence grew, concerns began to rise in Washington. Policymakers worried about trade imbalances, intellectual property issues, and national security risks. These concerns marked the beginning of a strategic shift. Economic cooperation gradually turned into competition. One of the first major battlegrounds was trade. The United States began imposing tariffs on Chinese goods. These tariffs increased costs for imports and aimed to reduce dependence on Chinese manufacturing. China responded with its own tariffs, escalating the conflict. This trade war disrupted global markets. Companies faced higher costs, supply chains became unstable, and uncertainty spread across industries. Businesses had to adapt quickly to new policies. The ripple effects were felt around the world. But trade was only the beginning. The real conflict extended far beyond tariffs, moved into the realm of technology, where control over innovation became critical. This marked the start of a deeper and more strategic rivalry. Technology is now at the center of economic power. From artificial intelligence to semiconductors, the future of global influence depends on technological leadership. Both the United States and China recognize this. As a result, competition in this sector has intensified. One of the most important areas of conflict is semiconductor production. These tiny chips power everything from smartphones to military systems. The United States has taken steps to restrict China's access to advanced chip technology. This has become a key strategy in limiting China's growth. China, in response, has invested heavily in developing its own technology. Billions of dollars have been directed toward domestic innovation. The goal is to reduce reliance on foreign technology. This has accelerated the technological race between the two nations. Another major battleground is artificial intelligence. AI has the potential to reshape industries, economies, and military capabilities. Both countries are competing to lead in this field. The outcome could determine future global dominance. The competition also extends to telecommunications. Control over 5G networks has become a strategic priority. These networks will support future technologies, from smart cities to autonomous vehicles. Both nations are working to expand their influence in this space. Supply chains have also become a critical front in this economic war. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in global production networks. Many countries realized their dependence on Chinese manufacturing. This triggered a shift toward diversification. The United States has encouraged companies to move production away from China. This process, often called decoupling, aims to reduce risk. However, it is not easy to restructure global supply chains. The transition is complex and costly. China, on the other hand, is strengthening its domestic market. It is focusing on internal consumption and self-reliance. This strategy is designed to make its economy more resilient. It also reduces exposure to external pressure. Another important aspect of this conflict is currency influence. The US dollar remains the dominant global currency. It plays a key role in international trade and finance. This gives the United States significant economic power. China has been working to expand the use of its currency, the yuan. It has introduced initiatives to promote international adoption. While progress has been made, the yuan still lags behind the dollar. However, the long-term goal is clear. Financial systems are also part of this silent war. Payment networks, banking systems, and digital currencies are becoming strategic tools. Control over these systems can influence global trade. Both nations are investing heavily in this area. Sanctions have become another key weapon. The United States has used financial restrictions to limit China's access to certain technologies. These measures are designed to slow down development. They also signal the seriousness of the conflict. China has responded by building alternative systems. It is developing new financial networks and trade partnerships. These efforts aim to reduce vulnerability to sanctions. Over time, they could reshape the global financial landscape. Corporate competition plays a major role in this rivalry. American and Chinese companies compete in global markets. From technology to manufacturing, the stakes are high. Success in these industries translates into national power. Companies are now caught in the middle of geopolitical tensions. They must navigate complex regulations and political risks. Decisions about where to invest or operate have become more complicated. This has changed the way global business works. The economic war also affects innovation. Both countries are investing heavily in research and development. Governments are supporting key industries. This has created a race for technological leadership. Education and talent are also part of the competition. Attracting skilled workers and researchers is crucial. Both nations are investing in their education systems. This will shape their future capabilities. The global impact of this rivalry is significant. Other countries are being forced to choose sides. Trade relationships are shifting. Alliances are evolving in response to this competition. Emerging economies are navigating this complex landscape. They seek opportunities while avoiding risks. Balancing relationships with both powers is challenging. This creates a dynamic global environment. The European Union has also taken a cautious approach. It aims to maintain economic ties with both nations. However, it faces pressure from both sides. This highlights the global nature of the conflict. The economic war is not just about power. It is also about values and systems. Different approaches to governance and markets are competing. This adds another layer to the rivalry. Some experts believe this competition will define the 21st century. It represents a shift from unipolar to multipolar power structures. The outcome remains uncertain, but its impact will be far-reaching. Despite tensions, both countries remain economically connected. Trade continues, and cooperation still exists in some areas. This makes the relationship complex. It is both competitive and interdependent. The future of this economic war is difficult to predict. New technologies could change the balance of power. Policy decisions will shape outcomes. Global events may accelerate or slow the conflict. What is clear is that this war is already underway. It is shaping industries, economies, and global relationships. Its effects are visible across the world, yet it remains largely invisible to many people. This silent conflict is redefining what power means. Military strength is no longer the only factor. Economic influence and technological leadership are equally important. This marks a new era in global competition. As the world watches, the stakes continue to rise. The outcome will affect businesses, governments, and individuals. Understanding this conflict is more important than ever. It is shaping the future we will all live in. If you want to understand the forces shaping global power, this is just the beginning. There are deeper stories behind every economic decision and geopolitical move. Stay informed, stay curious, and keep exploring. Make sure to subscribe for more in-depth documentaries on geopolitics, economics, and global power. Share this video with others who want to understand how the world really works. The next chapter of global power is already unfolding.